At the start of Oshi No Ko, we are introduced to idols and the significance they carried, especially for those like Goro and Sarina. We learn very quickly that Goro has his reasons for being a huge fan of Oshi No. That was because of the time he spent with Sarina during his internship at the Miyazaki hospital, the girl who changed his destiny. The story established a connection between Goro and Sarina, and eventually Aqua and Ruby. However, it was Sarina's dream that ultimately led Goro and Aqua down the path they took. It all started with Sarina, who was found to be terribly ill when she was only 4 years old. Of course, this would hurt any parent, but what broke her mother's heart further is when they learned Sarina's chances of living another 10 years was less than 10%. With this knowledge, Sarina's father made the decision to separate mother from their daughter too, in order to heal the mother's heart. Due to the Tendoji family's prestige in the community, they were able to send their daughter to the finest hospital in the area, the Miyazaki hospital. The parents immersed themselves into work in order to avoid their sadness, in an attempt to turn away from the reality that their daughter was dying. Eventually, they began to look away from their daughter too. Sarina's dream back then had been to become a figure skater like her mother, but unfortunately, her condition continued to get worse. She started having chronic headaches and nausea. She lost her sense of balance and soon could barely walk. Even her memory and perception were affected. However, she found one person who supported her through those painful days and nights, the idol Oshi No, and someone Sarina adored. As Sarina's illness neared the terminal stage, that's when her mother finally disappeared for good, likely not wanting to see her daughter in pain. Still, Sarina continued to wait for her mother, believing that Marina still loved her. Fortunately, there was a doctor who would occasionally go around the room of patients who hadn't had any visitors for a long time and talk to them. That doctor was none other than Goro, and his presence helped her a lot. Essentially, Sarina had gained 2 lights, but as we know, she'd eventually lose both of them in another life. Sarina ended up introducing Goro to idols, and also brought up the idea of being reborn with a beautiful face like eyes. She questioned what it would be like to be born as a celebrity's kid, with all the looks and connections. Goro wasn't too interested in that back then, telling Sarina she shouldn't wait for her next life. She could be an idol when she's discharged, and Goro will be her biggest fan. That gets Sarina excited, and she asks for him to marry her. Of course, Goro says no, but also maybe when she's 16. Unfortunately, Sarina knows she won't last that long. In this lifetime, Sarina lived her short life in the small hospital room, while enduring her suffering. Her dream to become an idol like Ai never came true, but was remembered after her passing through Goro. When Sarina died, her mother never came, and Goro was furious that the parents couldn't show up. Apparently they both worked in the city, which was too far away from them to reach Sarina in time. The thing is, Goro's mother had essentially died to give birth to him, and he never managed to shake the guilt. He wanted to be a surgeon, but the expectations of others led him to becoming an obstetrician instead. Due to the situation of his birth, Goro believed all mothers care for their children just as much as his did, but is proven wrong when Marina didn't show up for Sarina. In the end, Goro was the only one who could be there for Sarina. On her deathbed, Sarina gave Goro a keychain she had gotten from one of Ai's concerts, and told him to take good care of it. Goro promised to treasure it forever. Her dreams may have died, but Goro continued to see Sarina and Ai. They were the same age, so in a way, it is like Ai was living Sarina's dream. Thanks to Sarina, Goro was able to become invested in Ai's future, which led to him wanting to make sure Ai's pregnancy went especially well, going as far as to chase after a potential stalker on her due date at night. This led to Goro's death and rebirth as Aqua Oshi No, who didn't yet know that his sister Ruby was none other than Sarina. Every time he thought it could be a possibility, Aqua would blame himself. He couldn't forgive himself for having such a convenient fantasy, and believed there shouldn't be such elevation for someone like him, who couldn't do anything for Sarina. But still, he would approach Ruby as if she were Sarina. I think a good example of this is when Ruby told Memcho, age doesn't matter when it comes to being an idol, especially when she can't stop dreaming about it. Aqua smiles briefly when he sees Ruby being so idealistic, probably because it reminds him of Sarina when it came to her dream of being an idol. That's why Goro was her biggest fan. The person he adored was the girl who struggled painfully in the hospital room, but kept dreaming with her eyes sparkling. Back then, Sarina was even more radiant than Ai to him. When Ruby was nearly completely consumed by revenge, Aqua pleaded with her to remember that's not why she became an idol. In this new life, Sarina is finally able to get out of the hospital room and live freely. She could get on stage, sing songs, and make everyone happy like I did. She became an idol in order to make such dreams come true, and it's thanks to the reminder of Sarina's dream and Ruby's realization that Aqua was Goro that he was able to free her of revenge. Ruby was able to become an idol who sings of love that will save those who hear it. Save those who were once in her position, in that small hospital room all alone. Ruby has the eyes of love, of someone who wishes to love others. In order to ensure Sarina's dream can move forward into the future, Aqua is prepared to even kill his father and sacrifice himself. Although Aqua wanted to see Ruby pursue her idol dreams to the end and perform at the Dome, He believed he had to throw it all away in order to protect her future. Aqua stabbed himself and took his father down with him, with Goro dragging Hikaru further down into darkness, ensuring Sarina's dream lived on. Aqua had come to realize that the reason he was reborn into this world was not for revenge, but instead to protect his own sister. That's why he was reborn as a twin, and the closest to Ruby, the closest to Sarina, ensuring she was safe all the time. In the end, Goro was grateful he could die before Sarina. When Sarina died, she could hear Ai singing in her head, and then when Aqua died, it seems he could hear Ruby singing in his head instead. Not only did Aqua ensure Sarina's dream came true, but perhaps Ruby had even surpassed her original dream of being an idol just like her mother. She could become an idol that even surpasses Ai, with people idolizing her to the point of forgetting about their past and being saved when watching her, and she was reborn solely to light up those in the darkness. In the end, even if Ruby has to lie to herself, being able to live out her dream is still an incredibly fun job, and as she moves on into the future, she'll never forget that it was Ai and Aqua who illuminated this path for her. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I wanted to make one more Oshi No Ko video before the year ended. I figured this might be a good one, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'm hoping you all have a happy new year too. Peace.